Okay. Isn't the web kind of fucking terrible? Hi, what's up? I'm Jared. It's true though. So in this stream, I want to talk about it. If you came from the last stream where I was talking about a new type of web scraper and all this, I've made some developments on the idea. But it's not just about a web scraper. It's also about a way to structure the web a little bit. So, and when I say it's like chaotic or it's crazy, so what I really mean is there's too much going on. Too much going on. How's it going? How's your day? Introduce myself. I should be a little. I should start it with hi, Jared. This is my sign, Leo. I'm reading about the Iron Cage. Okay, so there's too much going on the web, and this is in many ways. Let's just go take an example here. Let's take an example here. Let's take an example. And then for me, I've been doing web development for a decade, more since I was like in high school. And I'm going to show you a little bit. And if you're new, what I'm looking at right now is called the Dev Tools. Okay, this is my Twitter. Okay, I'm looking at the Dev Tools right now. And this is a little thing you can use. And I have a Mac, Command Alt I. You can go to any website and you can analyze what's going on the website. Now I'm going to go in the network right here. And so if you're uninitiated, you probably don't know that every single thing in this list that I'm looking at right now, every single thing is a request, an HTTP request. It's an HTTP request that goes over the wire to some other place, not your computer. And let's go analyze one of these. It goes over the wire, and here it's sent a ton of data. Oh, and this is like specific data to my user, it looks like. And it sent it to some server. What server did it send this to? Yeah, it's Twitter, so that makes sense. And it sent a ton of data about myself, and then it didn't actually send a response. It looks like they don't care about having a response, but it sent data over the wire. Look at how many of these events are here. This is just a basic feed here. Look at how much shit is here. And I go on the feed, and it's like, oh, okay, I don't know what's going on. There, you never know what you're going to get. All right, so it's like every single time I scroll, a ton of look at this couples arguing, whatever, it doesn't matter. Look at how many more requests happened. A lot of this shit wasn't here before I scrolled. Okay, it's like images and all this stuff. Okay, way too much is going on. And that's on the technical side. There's also just too much going on the literal, like when I actually go on the site, like, okay, like I go in the what's happening section, super targeted to me. And like how many people are talking about President Gay? It's like, why are people talking like that's actually really funny. But like, look at how much content is here. So, and there's a reason why I'm talking about this. I'm not just complaining. Okay, we have solutions here. So we go to President Gay, this little trending thing in the what's happening section, and each little feed item here is something. Okay, this guy's name is Rob Smith. He's the author of this tweet. This tweet has content. Why he's asking a question. The content itself has a specific meaning. It's a question. It's a type of question. He says, "Did Obama come out?" That's a rhetorical question. Yeah, I hope you kind of get where I'm coming here. If you're a web dev, he has a picture here. There's a profile picture. If I go into the HTML and I inspect this, this is for like the hardcore web people, because this is important because today in a lot of these streams, I'm trying to build something that has some weight to it, that actually has some meaning to it. So this HTML is absurdly complicated. Look at how deep. Look at how many levels deep they need to have the HTML in order to just show one image here. I'm not even at the top. Jesus Christ! Look at this. I'm not even okay. Here it is. Okay, and then they have this test ID thing, which they use on their end. So this is like the top everything inside here represents this profile. And they have some specific things they do. So what I'm getting at here is all this does is represent a profile image. There's some specific information here about the CSS classes, the styles, the way it looks, whatever, the HTML, that if we look at with enough pattern recognition, because this profile image is on Facebook, on Instagram, on your beta list, or whatever weird site you use. So we can look at the structure, the differences, and the similarities between all these different ways things look, all these different representations, and we can make a structured definition for what a profile is, and not just based on what we would like the format to be. If you're knowledgeable about the subject, that's the semantic web, where they tried to have this formatting that everyone would adhere to. So this would be defined as like a div dash profile image or whatever. That's not going to happen. That's not reasonable, in my opinion. The reasonable thing is everyone's going to do their own thing. And then us, the web engineers, can figure out a way to make structure from what they do. And that's my proposal for a new way of building on the web. And the first step to that future, where we can actually have some structure here, is we need a data structure. Hey, what's up? What's up, Sammy B? Hey, what's up, Abhinav? How you doing? Sorry, I almost messed up your name. President Gay. So today, the web's too chaotic. There's too much going on. It's not even just too much going on. There's literally too much content here, and we gotta make sense of it. But we can take an engineering approach. Like, the engineering side's too much. You saw the network. The network's crazy. I remember at one company I worked at, a news company, we had to analyze it was a very famous news company, so this should concern you. We had to analyze how many third-party network requests were happening and reduce them because it was making the site too slow. There was like 100 that were unaccounted for. I'm not gonna make claim on what company that was or what those ads were, because technically, if you look at my LinkedIn, I worked at 2 media companies. Okay, so that's my out. But we go and we compare it to CNN. Let's go to CNN. Let's go to a CNN article right now. And by the way, the requests matter because everything is about the structure. When you have the reason why I'm talking about the network request, it may not seem like it's related to the HTML, and this is really important if you're a web developer, because this is what you really get paid to do, is understand things like this. Understanding things like this is what you actually get paid good money for, not just like getting your fucking internship where you're just making components, right? All these network requests. I just realized I forgot to tell the one second. I forgot to tell the chat, or to tell the Discord. So radio silence, radio silence. Jared wore that shirt yesterday. Yeah, that's right. You can wash shirts. So much to learn, so little time. Javu, there's enough time. There's enough time. You got to take it easy. You got to take it easy. So let's go to CNN. Okay, so here's because you may not know why I care so much about how crazy these network requests are. Because we're also going to use these network requests eventually. Maybe not today. Not today. We're going to use them. It's going to be very, very important in the future of the web, in my opinion. Web developers are going to have to know more about this tab right here, because too few are very educated when it comes to what's going on in the network tab right here. So the HTML is complex, overly engineered. The network is overly engineered. Okay, and as we start reverse engineering the web, we'll be able to figure out a data structure to actually go in the other direction and start building websites with this semantic structure. But we're not there yet. That's like way down the line. Anyway, so let's go and look at all these requests. So when I went to the home, so far 250, that's actually less than it used to be. 250, it's still going up. 257 requests were made. 17 megabytes. It's almost 18 megabytes. 17 megabytes transferred. 27 megabytes of resources, assets. So that's just the whole thing. That's not just the data transfer. It's a whole shebang. And it took kind of a long time. It's still running, and it's been 3 minutes. And it actually took, I don't know why, it took 15 seconds for the DOM content to load. Wow, this site is not optimized. Okay, here's why this matters. Because there's a lot of stuff here. A lot of it's failing. A lot of these, if we could use, I'll have this on another stream. I'll actually do this on another stream. Could someone please remind me, because I'm going to fucking forget. It's a good idea. You can use an LLM to label a lot of these and detect which are actually third parties. Because and you can also fine tune one. But either way, a lot of these are just third party tools where they're sending up your data over the wire. And the reason why it matters on an engineering sense of efficiency is because it makes the page slower and it makes the HTML more complex. A lot of these requests are, I don't know if we can see it here, but a lot of these are actually updating something's happening that's happening in JavaScript and updating the HTML here. There's a lot of iframes. But so let's open up. Yeah, everything's in this layout. And their HTML, let's actually take a look at it here. And also, when you simplify the data transfer, this is important. I'm going to go less techie in a sec, and then I'm going to go more techie, but I'm going to go less techie in a sec. But when you decrease the data transfer, there's less data happening on your website. You're making the experience more stable. So a lot of this unstructuredness, or this chaos happening, where you have like all these random, like the structure's so weird. Like, let's actually take an example. Like, this is a article link. So like this article link right here. I mean, this is a great fucking, Jesus Christ. This is just a link tag. Look at how many attributes this has. Each of these data attributes, I'm sure there's some team at CNN that needed this because some third party needed data ZJS zone ID. Like, this is like hitting some API whenever the link gets clicked. And some team was like, hey, when this link gets clicked, we need ZJS, or I don't know. ZJS may also be their framework. But you get what I'm saying. Like, a lot of these position number, they may have needed that because some team needed this to be ordered. They need this to dynamically change or whatever, a lot of this stuff becomes bloat because eventually it becomes useless. And millions and millions and millions of people go to CNN.com and they're using bloated HTML and they're using bloated net like data transfer. There's like a lot of probably privacy like obstructing data that's being transferred over the wire here that you don't even know because you just go on the site, you know? So if we fix the HTML structure, and by the way, we're not changing HTML, but if we give some more structure to the web, we'll be able to understand it more. That's the main goal with this project I'm doing. And in the end, just to make it look real, we have a good language for how to structure the web. We'll be able to do this. And this is what I care about the most. We'll be able to have a site that looks like, how many fucking times have I done this? That looks like this. And okay, you get it. But I want to get some better examples of this. But we have a site that like looks like something like this, right? With a footer, yada yada, doesn't matter. And there's a reason why I'm typing this out. You'll see where I'm going with this because I'm making this has meaning to it. This is the comment. This guy said this, yada yada, and then we have profile link, a tag. You kind of get where I'm going with this. So like, okay, you get where I'm going with this. So this is a structure. It's in a tree, and I don't really know what this is. Like I don't know what this piece. Like if I just was a bot, and I'm like traversing the web, and I'm scraping, and I'm getting shit, I would look at this comment right here, and I wouldn't know what it means. I know it says the word comment here, but it's like I also don't because it's a bot, and it's just like Google doesn't really know. Well, their bot's getting smarter, obviously, but like if I made a web crawler, it doesn't know any of the meanings of what this is. It says comment, but it might say something else, you know, right? So my thought is, what if we were able to convert, be able to, let's say this is we're using JavaScript here, okay? And let's say this is our HTML string. Let me add some color. Let me add some coloring here. So let's say we have an HTML string here. Wouldn't it be interesting if we could do something like this? I call it SuperTree. I actually don't have a name yet for this data structure because I need this data structure, but I don't have a name yet. Whenever I name things, I just say super because my brain don't work too good. So like, I want to be able to get the semantic embedding tree of this. So I want to get a tree that embeds that labels a lot of these HTML tags with the semantics. So I want to have a way of converting this to a tree that's like starts with the HTML node, then it has a head node and a body node. And these are just like nodes or whatever in a tree. And then it'll say it'll have a content node. No, not in the head. And then it has a header node. Then it has a footer node. And in the content, when I did all this, by the way, all this shit here, it'll know that div was a comment div. And the div inside here, it'll know that this is not just a link, but a profile link. So this is a representation of this that's sort of encoded with the meanings of what these things are. And the reason why this matters is because once we get that, we'll be able to do awesome shit. Here's an example. Here's 5 things we can do with it. We can do some web scraping. We can maybe take this super tree thing and we could say, select all the comments. So that's a web scraping task. Okay, so we can actually use this for web scraping task. We can also say, let's say I have we can also do classification. So let's say right now, if I was going to do HTML classification, if you don't know classification, it's pretty much like you're trying to get the structure or the embedding of something, and you're going to label it. And you're going to say, everything that looks like this thing is going to be called a cat. I have a picture of a cat. I'm going to get some sort of data representation of it, vectorize it, is what people will get an embedding of it. And I have 100 examples of cats, and I'm going to label them all cats. And then I'm going to train a neural net on what that cat looks like. And then now when I pass in any random image to it, it'll be like, how much does this image look like a cat? How much does it look like this label? So that's the classification. So classifying websites is actually very difficult because of the chaos of websites. And it's very important. It's super important. It's actually really important for getting data sets. It's really important for OpenAI needs to do it, right? Like, Google needs to do it. Like every single I'd say every big company needs to classify websites. Every big FANG company, at least to some extent. Anyone who's working with a lot of data typically has to do that. So it's like, is this a login page or whatever? Is this an article page? Okay, so search, like that's kind of like this, finding stuff. You could also say, select all comments. By the way, I'm making up this language right now. This isn't real. But I say for each comment here, maybe I have a function in this data structure where I'm like, find positive like words or whatever. You get it? So like we can do stuff maybe with these semantics and create layers to it. Does that make sense? I'm gonna look at this. Sorry, I'm not like really. Jared, what's this? What is this stream about, and what are you trying to teach? SuperTrees it does sound like a weed strain. That's kind of funny. Okay, cool. So, yeah, Abhinav, you gotta go back, gotta catch up. Go back to the beginning. So this is as a recap, we're trying to add structure to the web. And there's a way to do it. The web's too chaotic, both in a content way and in an engineering way. It's too chaotic. We're going to make sense of it. Any questions? I'm going to get into coding. Because, okay, I need to, so where I'm at right now is I have where are we at right now? I have a huge data. It's not that. I have a few thousand websites. Not just a few thousand. I have a few thousand components from websites. I scraped. This is on the last video. Last video, we made a web crawler. I gotta charge my laptop. We made a web crawler that is giving us a data set of little HTML components. little HTML components. Now we're at the tech side. So if you're not initiated, this isn't going to be for you. Okay. You're like, we're at the tech side now? Yeah. Yeah. We're at the tech side now. Okay. So I have a few thousand of these components. So what I really do is I have an algorithm in this crawler where I find components on the website. So my goal to build what I just showed you. So let's go back to where was I just typing all that shit in? I have so many notes here. Hold on a sec. Dude, where was I just writing all that? What the hell? Oh, right here. Oh, my bad. But oh yeah, reverse engineering. That's actually what I really care about. Because I think if you do this really, okay, I know I'm going to sound I'm going to sound crazy. I didn't already sound crazy, but if you really do this well enough and you get a really big data set, you'll be able to fork websites. You'll be able to generate backends. Because you can say, what do I need? You can ask an LLM to be like, I know a lot of people aren't going to get what I'm saying here, but dude, it's so cool. You could ask an LLM. You could take a website, Google. You could put it in this data structure, and then you can ask an LLM for every little thing on the site recursively. Follow what I'm saying here. You could recursively say, what technology would I need to build the backend for a comment? And then you could just keep filling in the code base recursively for each of these features. That's why that thought is why I first fucking started learning about GPT and transformers and stuff. What do you do for fun besides lifting and coding? Sports, like a random sport I like. Hanging out. Recently been snowboarding. I haven't been following the project, but you're planning on training a neural net to classify websites. And yeah. So right now, it's right. Iterating features would be really fast. Yeah. Liz says, in what area of programming do you work in? When I first started, so I've been coding. I mean, I learned coding like when I was like in middle school, but I first was good, I guess, at like web development, and I guess I mostly just worked as a full stack dev, but I don't know, I've had to do a lot of stuff. A lot of just general things. I don't know. I know that sounds funny, but like I feel like eventually people just want you to do a lot of different shit. Yeah. But mostly like full stack stuff. Like building out backends, building out databases, building out front ends, a lot of front end shit. A lot of web scraping, funny enough. A lot of like automation, just whatever people need. A lot of desktop apps. I've had different jobs where it's like, you know what's funny? Electron. I remember when I was like 17, I had this junior dev job where it wasn't Electron. It's currently called nw.js. I remember there was this long project that they, for some reason, put me in charge of the building it. And it was like a desktop app. And dude, I remember being like, I knew like, I was like doing it, but I was like, guys, I'm fresh. No, but yeah, like stuff like that. Interesting. So Full stack is doing a little bit of everything. Seems stressful if it's like a one-man job. Have you worked in teams or at a company? Yeah, Liz. Yeah, I've worked at a lot of companies. Yeah, check out my LinkedIn. No, I mostly work in teams. I mean, I feel like my role is like they just dust me off. Like if there's some some problem. By the way, now I have like a agency that I'm building. So like I'll still code, but like I'm like hiring, and I know how to get clients and all that, and most people don't know how to get work. So I'm sort of setting up a little shop right now. So I don't actually work at a place now as much as I work for myself, and building out mostly MVPs for people. So yeah, I just build shit. I don't know. The one-man job thing, it's not a one-man job. So like it's never a one-man job. Yeah, that's never like a thing. Well, I mean, only if you hire one guy, but no actual quality company it's ever been like one guy. It's always but there's typically a guy who builds a lot of shit, you know. There's always at one company, there's always like some guy, they're like, hey, this guy Eric, dude, he built that. You're like, seems like Eric built everything here. And then Eric leaves, and then the company goes under. Being Eric. So okay, so right. So back to what Will was saying, where so yeah, also Will, check out, if you're interested, check out the stream I did where I say like web scraping sucks. That stream I talk about this a lot, but pretty much we're gonna have a separate data structure. So we're gonna try to convert a site to this data structure that has a lot of semantics encoded in the site. So we're gonna sort of create a little HTML tree here, or semantic tree. Maybe it's a better thing to call it than a super tree. Ah, fuck it, who cares? Anyway, so the problem I have, so my method for doing this is to scrape sites, detect components from the site, and then get a big data set of these little sub components. So I'll like detect that profile thing on the site, and then I embed it in some LLM that I'm using as the foundation model. I'm just using that as the embedding layer, not the foundation. I'm using a foundation model as the embedding layer. So I'm embedding all these components. So if you don't know embedding, it's like just converting. It's just vectorizing, I guess. That's the best way to say that. And then I'm going to cluster it. And then I'm going to like label it. And so I'll like have a big data set of these p tags and all this stuff. So we already did most of that. We already did all of that. It's just right now I'm iterating and I'm trying to figure out how to make it good, because right now the clustering is not that great. And a lot of these components are different. When done, would this replace many web devs? No, it would make the web dev work a lot better. Because if you could genuinely build out a whole, like if you could have big queries like this that's building out a whole site, and you could also say like, you know, fork this fucking, I know this part sounds crazy, but it's totally possible. You could say like fork Google. I'm crazy, but you can fucking do this. I believe this. So like, and then you could say like fork it with a different design or something, you know? Obviously Google is a search engine, so you don't have the database won't have anything in it. But you could also make web scraper routines to build up a database and all that. But if this is built out well, you'll be able to have enough tooling to be way more productive. It's really just a productivity tool when it comes to getting data and when it comes to building also. The manpower needed would go down like crazy. Maybe. First things first. So now we're in coding mode. So now we're just chilling and coding. That was my little explanation. Now we're just chilling. I had to get the explanation out there. So first thing I gotta do, we actually open up the collab. All right, let's get off of CNN. Jesus Christ. Let's get off of CNN. Where's I just realized, am I using collab? No, I'm using RunPod. Let's just open up the collab. So like this collab is this here? Okay. Is this real? Remember that lady was like, that's not real. What do you guys think about that lady? What was going on there? You know what I'm talking about? That lady was like, that's not real. Like, what the fuck was that about? She was on the airplane and everything. I don't know. Who cares? People were like, no, we don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, I seen her. She was either on something or off something. I think she saw something. I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, the odds are she's just crazy, but also, I don't know. That's a really weird reaction. She didn't seem crazy. Like, I don't know. You never know who's crazy though. You never know who's crazy. So here's my collab. So this is a collab where I embed all these things. I embed them. That's what I call it. So I convert all the components I have into using this like markup LM thing into embeddings, and then I cluster them and shit. And I use k-means to cluster it. You can probably see, do I still have some cluster? This one looks like shit. But either way, the clustering is not great. And I think the way I gotta solve that is I gotta get smaller components. They're way too big. Hey, what's up, Mike? Hey, what's up? How you doing? That guy's not real. Yeah, part of me is like, I don't know. She's like, oh, like she's not real. I'm like, I think that happened. No, I mean, there's no. Hey, what's up? Yeah, part of me is just like that was so crazy that I kind of believe it. You know, like there's some things that are just so crazy that you're like, I don't know. Probably did a magic trick. Who? Oh, the guy. That'd be so fucked up if that guy did that. Like if there's like a guy that genuinely did like some magic, like David Blaine thing in the background, and he never told anybody. He just fucked with this one lady, and she just gets kicked off the plane, and he's just like, oh, no one knows about me. Tee hee. Yeah, like that's like for like that's like psycho. That's like psycho behavior. All right, I'm just like scrolling through this code. What do I have to do? Yeah, like what is that? Like what's up with someone just freaking out? Whenever I see people freak out in public, I'm like, this is public, right? This is like the world. People act insane in public. Insane. Yeah, this is where I'm doing it. So content density. So I have this algorithm where I score the content and I detect what's a component, quote unquote, on the site. And right now it's getting components that are too big. How do I solve that? So really, I have this threshold thing. Let me actually log. Yeah, let's log this stuff. Yeah. All right, let's run this again. Work stuff. I call this real web hacks. I don't have a name for any of this. Lizard personer, she legit feared for her safety and everyone else on that plane. So she saw something. Everyone else on that plane, she saw something crazy. I don't know, lizard person or something. Wait, other people on the plane saw something? Is that what you're saying? There's no way. Maybe it was a lizard person. Maybe. Now, how do I run this again? I have a scripts folder, and then I run fetch components, right? Oh yeah, I'm using bun. Nope, it was just her? Okay. I was about to say, if it's just her, the odds are she's fucking crazy. I think that's like the odds, but I'm a believer. Okay, I'm a believer. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe maybe she saw something. Like, who am I to judge? Oh wait, these scores are messed up. They're all 0. What the hell? Oh no, hold on a second. Oh no, they're not. Never mind. I'm looking at the bottom of the list. So I only get things over 0.2. Yeah, no, like part of me thinks that, like, dude, that would suck if you're in a situation where you're like a normal person and then you see something like, imagine you're on a plane and you see like you just randomly see Morgan Freeman just standing there, and then you're just like, and then like he just like turns into like a goat and then starts flying, and then just fucking goes into a portal into like, and then the portal closes, and then you're just like right there. Like imagine if something like that happened. Like, yeah, people, you're gonna be like, that's fucking crazy. You're gonna be like, that's nuts. One thing I need to do, I need to not get things this big. Kind of weird. There hasn't been a follow-up video. No, someone interviewed her. I didn't see it, but she was apparently like, dude, I'm not informed on this topic. Who cares? But oh, I didn't get this one. But yeah, no, like she was definitely interviewed after that. How do you interview her? You're just like, hey, so are you like insane? I just want to know, how crazy are you from like 1 to 10? Let's see. Yeah, I need to not get this right here. This huge thing right here. Yeah, how do I not get these? How do I do that? Let's see. So I'm doing a get content density. It's funny, you look at like an algorithm you wrote before and you're looking at it and you're like, what was I doing? Genuinely. You're like I was You're like, oh, whoops. You're like, what was I doing? Oh, I just exponentiated. Okay. That seems like a horrible idea. And I get the oh, I get right. I get one over that. Okay. So what I'm saying here, so there's a little advice if you're doing any algorithmic work and you need to score stuff. So I want to make it so I score every node in the tree, but as I go up the tree and score them, I want the scores to matter less. How many degrees? It's kind of weird to explain, but how many degrees from the root or whatever. So every time I go down, I kind of de-score it here, but this isn't smart actually. I shouldn't be using exponential. Yeah, I think you're right, dude. Job view. Yeah, dude, job view. I literally was gonna change this to a fucking log. I mean, it's not gonna be one over the log, but that's so funny that you said that. Job view's smart. Let me think. So I get the depth, and I get the. So what direction is this in? What's happening? What is happening? Calculate. Right, I get the score of the current element, and then I go through every element inside of it, and I get the score of those, and I accumulate it. And as I'm accumulating, I do this weird multiplication. Let's just pretend like I don't do that and start from scratch. And then sometimes you just gotta, when you're like rewriting something, sometimes you just gotta start from scratch. You just gotta start from scratch. So this is the depth. This is the how far you are from the top. So I want the first level to be to matter a lot. Then I want it to not matter as much. So funny, like, dude, that'd be a living nightmare. Actually, that'd be a living nightmare. If you were living in a world, oh yeah, not one, but if you were living in a world where, if you were living in a world where, actually, I can just multiply it, but I can literally just do logarithm. I can get the diff of this. And uh, just do that for now. This is how a lot of things get kind of hacky here. It's kind of arbitrary plus one right there. You can't log, can't log one. Okay. But yeah, it's like imagine living in a world where you see the crazy. That's why, like, when people are schizos and they see stuff, I'm like, I'm never like, oh, that person's just fucking crazy and nuts. Because a part of me is like, I don't know. Like I could like that could just be me, you know. Like what if like you just see some shit one day? But then again, yeah, maybe they're just fucking crazy. I feel like we're living in a world that's kind of. This is where we get into conspiracy. Whoa, why is this? Okay, now the score is super high. Oh, I changed the scale, obviously. I changed the entire scale. But let's see. I don't want this. Okay. But if you lived in a world where like you only saw all this crazy shit, no one else saw any of the crazy shit you saw, You'd probably be like, oh, that's true. I'm doing this on Hacker News, but you'd probably like get really jaded. You're like, is everyone just a retard? Yeah, it's just how it is having a high IQ. These scores are pretty high. Oh wait, this isn't ordered. Okay. Oh no, it is. Why is it? I thought those were 1 point. Whatever. Yeah, it's in order. Okay, these are good. You know what? I actually don't want this to be, because the way this works is, which is good for the original purpose I made. This algorithm works in a way where if it's a feed of items, that's actually where each thing is a high content item. That's a very big score, but I actually don't want that anymore. I don't think. I want like the smallness of these to matter more, if that makes sense. I want like very small. I want it to be, if it's large, if it's very large, that if the component's large, I want that to be a hindrance. Let's see. So it's not really density anymore. So actually, we get the depth. I need to get some concept of siblings here. If there's like not, if there's no, actually no, I gotta think this through a little bit. You know what? I just need to, I just need to filter these out post processing. It may sound lazy, but I think that I just need to do that. Yeah, I need to post process this. It's good that I changed that to a log though, even though I kind of just did the same thing. I just just did the same thing, but I just flipped it. Anyway, so this is good, and this is 1 point. At least the numbers are bigger. Okay. 0.4. I think it's still just keep all the stuff at 0.2. Yeah. I think so. All right. I'm logging too much stuff. Let me filter this, and then I get the found components. You know why? Because I'm getting all that shit. Yeah, let me only log the found components. I feel like if we're in an interesting time where I think if you're trying to get into tech right now, it's like it's truly a test of your will. Before it used to be more kind of obvious. It's like, yeah, you just fucking crush. It's great. But now the job, like, you kind of have to create your own job. Really. And I think a lot of people are realizing that. You have to create your own job. Because before there used to be like a system for getting jobs. I mean, the thing is in the world, you always have to kind of create your own job. It's kind of just how the world works. I mean, like, if you want to have wealth, you have to create your own job. Oh, no SVGs. Please tell me I'm not using SVGs. Have I been using SVGs this whole time? Well, oh yeah, I use it here, but that's not. If you don't know, if you're ever doing any HTML classification, SVGs are horrifying. If you're ever doing any analyzing of the DOM, SVGs are they're disgusting. Yeah, I'm not. I don't think I'm. Do I have a thing where I'm cleaning the data? I never clean these SVGs. What the fuck? Why would I not do that? It's going to mess the data up. SVGs are, so here's why the SVGs are going to mess the data up, because they're structured completely differently from 99% of HTML, or the HTML that we care about, content. They matter, so we kind of do have to keep them, I'm realizing. But once we start clustering and everything, they're gonna kind of mess things up. I think we should just get rid of the SVGs for now. For now, we could label them. No, we kind of gotta keep them. Actually, never mind. But yeah, like we're in a weird time where, like, if I was to give anyone advice on like getting into tech, I wouldn't even say, "Oh, you got to get a job." It's like you got to create your job. You got to find value. You can do whatever you want, but I would say that's the smartest thing to do. It's like find like what genuinely would people want to pay you for. We soon save the world, boys. The See, sub Jared, I just started watching your vids. Love the study buddy stream. Thanks, Michael Turner. Thanks, Michael Turner. You sound like your name is like if a superhero, like it's like a superhero's secret identity. Michael Turner. People are like, yeah, no one knows about fucking Michael Turner. You sound like you're Spider-Man, is what I'm saying. See, what do you mean, primetime Zali? Epic name. Whenever you put primetime in your name, you're about that action. What do you mean we soon save the world? Primetime's doing crazy shit that I don't even know about. I feel bad for all the CS freshmen who think they can coast. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Well, you can't coast in anything and expect anything. Everything's about working hard and giving. You know, everything's about service too when it comes to success and like getting competent. Because a lot of when you see a guy and he's like very competent, it's often because he's found a way to serve. It's like you could even go down to the base level of like if you're just a hunter. What does a hunter do? A hunter goes and he goes out and kills something that can feed his tribe every day. It's a service, you know? And there's a lot of different services in the world. I mean, building platforms for less cooming and more grooving, baby. Prime times, Ellie. Please tell me you're in the Discord. Primetime Zai. Sorry, I said Zali. Primetime Zai, or I don't know how to say your name. Dude, your energy is epic. Yeah, so we just got to build platforms for less cooming and more grooving. Nice. Oh, it's in the is it not? It's in the chat. It's in the chat. Yeah, we gotta yeah, dude. How many coomers get created every day in the world? Let's decrease that number. Less coomers, more families. Do you think there's a STEM shortage? Dude, there's never been a STEM shortage. I mean, I've never seen that. Maybe there was in like 2012, but I was like 16, so I don't know, or like 15, 16. He said coon. Oh, less. Oh, my bad. Less cooning, dude. The coons need to stop. Oh shit! Did YouTube take me off? fucking YouTube. The less you coom, the more you coon, and the less you coon, the more you coom. Isn't that interesting? It's funny saying something like, isn't that interesting? Okay, I think this is good enough. I think, you know what I need to do? I need to crawl. I need to get a different data set. Wait, they took Primetime's comment out of the YouTube chat? Primetime, you're getting canceled, dude. You're already getting canceled. Oh, I clean the data here. Oh, but I don't clean the SVGs. Huh. Interesting. Oh, wait. Clean node IDs. Right. Oh, okay. I think we're good. Where's the data go? It goes right here. So you know what I'm going to do? Let's actually delete this file. Let's delete this file. Let's get a new data set. Get a new data set. I'm going to figure out a different way to make it granular. What are you building? We're making semantic HTML. We're making HTML embeddings. So for clustering HTML, you know, like we're vectorizing HTML. It's the best way to put it. Based on semantics. Let's see. We're giving the web a little more structure. Soon I will be able to. I just did LS 3 times because I fucking forgot what was it called? Oh yeah. Okay. That's not JSON. All right, let's run this scraper. I just realized this might make my browser messed up. On scripts, fetch components. All right, let's run this again. Oh, I need to start from different. So my seed URLs is Y Combinator. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna scrape from like basic HTML templates. Let's go. Let's scrape some basic HTML templates. Let's actually see. Because the problem is the data set I'm getting is too complicated. I need to get very simple structured HTML. Very simple. Hold on a sec. No. Right, let's just get it. Let's go get a Bootstrap template. Bootstrap templates. Oh wait, hold on a sec. Yeah. Is this it? No. There's one that I know is like simple as fuck. Yeah, it's get Bootstrap. That's what it is. It's on the actual site. Yeah, let's get like these sites right here. This, even just do this page right here. Better. Actually, still do that. But yeah, and then let's get this pricing page. We need simple sites. Simple sites. I'm getting the data set's way too complicated. Way too complicated. When you're getting data sets, you got to think. You got to try to, in my opinion, try to get as much structure based on your knowledge as much as possible. That's the competitive advantage when it comes to AI and models. It's like, how are you using your knowledge to build something unique and proprietary? So I know about HTML, having worked as a web developer for a long time. So I'm gonna fucking do something related to that. You get it? See, this is very simple website. Nice. Yeah. Why wasn't I already doing this? Why wasn't I already doing this? I need simple websites. Simple. I don't even need a crawler really. I'm gonna still use the crawler, but I'm actually gonna make the depth. So when you're building so I had another stream where I built the web crawler. When you're building a web crawler, you got to think about how far you want to go. How far you want to go. I'm gonna decrease the max depth. So only the way web crawlers work is you find these outbound links and you go to those outbound links. You can crawl the web forever, right? I'm limiting per seed because you have to give a web crawler seeds. It has to start somewhere. Per seed, it's only going to go 3 levels deep. And each site, it's going to scrape the components it finds in the site. It's going to build the data set. We're going to make embeddings for it. And I'm realizing I need cleaner data. Cleaner data. In life, you just need burger. I'm so hungry. I just realized I'm so hungry. So hungry. This looks good. Yeah, there's a like right now, if you're like trying to scheme your way into tech, in my opinion, you should let's see, what is this called? In my opinion, you should think less like I need to do job training to get in and more like an entrepreneur. Try to solve a problem. If you learn how to solve problems, then someone will fucking use you for something. That's how the world works. We need problem solvers in this world. It's like for most jobs I've gotten, the vetting process wasn't that crazy. I mean, I've gotten a lot of jobs through referrals too. That helps. That helps. Networking, the network is big. Anyone who says it isn't doesn't know what they're talking about. Network is huge. But outside of that, when I like interviews where I've gotten jobs, it's almost always, it's rarely been because I knew certain technologies even as much as they were vetting my problem solving, and then they were like, "Oh, okay, he can solve problems." And I've had some bad interviews too. By the way, I'm not like perfect. I've had interviews where I came in and I was like, I literally don't know what you just put on that board. I didn't say that. I tried to do it, and then I'm like, fuck, I don't fucking know. I've definitely, but through the years though, you get better at like the whiteboard thing. You get a lot better at whiteboarding. You get better at performance when it comes to problem solving. Like that's one reason why I always say it's very good to get used to giving yourself a time limit where you're like, in the next hour, I got to do like, what's the most I can get done in an hour? And not just a time limit, but just give yourself, that's why hackathons are great. It's like you get to push yourself in the like performance piece of it. And I don't mean like fucking like a theater thing. I'm not saying that, but I mean like performing at a high level in something. It's like, can you think outside the box when you need to? Not just when it's something you'd like to do. When it like, can you like think creatively because it's needed in that moment? There's a lot of problem solving is creative thinking. Force yourself to make decisions and take action. Exactly. It's all about making decisions. That's typically what why am I committing something to Git? Dude, I've been psyoped by Git. I just typed out Git commit and I'm not doing anything related to, this isn't even a Git repo yet. And I just wrote this out. I'm brainwashed. I'm a CIA program. They got me, dude. You should organize a hackathon in your Discord once. There's more people. Yeah, I mean, that's the end goal. I want to have locations. I'm literally losing my mind right now, Will. What the fuck? Yeah, I'm gonna eventually organize a hackathon. Like earlier, I LS 3 times, and I didn't even like need to LS. It's pathological behavior. But yeah. So like, if anyone's in the Philly area, hit me up because I currently am organizing. Me and my buddy Tony, dude, Tony will be here and he won't even say anything in the chat. But me and my buddy Tony will do these Saturday with like other Philly hackers. We'll do this like coffee and code thing where we'll like go to we'll commandeer a coffee shop in Philly, and then we'll go get hot pot after. This is great hot pot place where they have like tons and tons of meat, and that's what I'm about. Yeah, committing with no repo, it's more than insane. It's criminal behavior. I shouldn't even. I should be in prison for that. That was insane. That was crazy. I was like, get commit just because it felt good. I'm just too flow state, Will. Just too flow state. Sometimes you get so flow state that you're just like, yeah, let me get commit. Who cares? Gives a fuck. Yeah, just get commit. Let's see. How many of these components am I getting here? Oh, wow. It actually looks good. What are we building today? Rosmic. You know what we're building today? We're continuing to build my super fucking web scraper, my super web project. So that video where I talked about web scraping and why it sucks, and we're continuing that. This is like a part 3 or whatever. That first one was it's really a part like 6 because those tiny web dev LLMs are pretty similar to this. But by the way, it's not like you didn't really need to watch those to know what I'm doing. You just need to watch the whole video. I'm trying to not make it so you need a lot of context. That's why I'm like starting from the top. Because that's kind of shitty if you're like, you need to know like all these things. Oh, this is looking good. These are looking good, and they're not too big too. So you know what it is? I was using websites. I need to clear these out, obviously. But I was using websites that were too complex. And now I'm scraping simpler websites, and the data set is going to be better. Even though we have these SVGs right here. What do I do with SVGs? I got to figure that out because this is going to mess everything up. SVGs in a transformer is like chaos. Oh, shit. Got to filter those out. So we're going to cluster this HTML, and then we're going to label them. So we're going to scrape enough that we're like, this is a content card. This is a profile card. You get it. Oh, we got an error. Oh, that's fine. Just means we couldn't take a screenshot. We got our screenshots in here? You see, so that's a component. That's like an email subscribe button. This is like email with the subscribe. Hold on a sec. Yeah. This is both buttons together. Button grouping. This is a whole article. There's like a header. So I'm detecting these components. Oh, this looks good. These are like way better components than when I was just scraping random ass sites from like Google searches. This is way, way better. Higher level of financial. Oh, wait. Oh, I didn't delete the directory. So some of these are from another time I scraped stuff. Hold on a sec. Fuck. We got to start again. All right. I forgot to delete this folder. All right. So like I need the wait, do I need these? Yeah, I need these images because when I cluster it, I want to see the actual HTML components that I clustered. And by the way, the whole pipeline's already finished for this. Add some SEO spam detection to your content density score. How so? What do you mean spam detection? Like dude, what was that folder called? Feature screenshots. Feature screenshots, yeah. Features. Like, because the density, it's based on the component. I think I know what you mean. Should improve the quality of results if you can reduce weight for low quality. Oh, I see. So if you go to a low quality website, you look at the quality of the text. I feel like whatever way that would make it kind of slow, though. That's interesting, though. Maybe I have a phase, maybe not so much in the algorithm, but I prune the data afterwards with some shit like that. Hold on a second. Whoops. Feature screenshots. I put in the wrong folder. Okay. So some streams you guys get me building a thing. So the other stream I was building like the study AI thing. That's a cool stream, right? Yeah. This stream, we're doing a longer term project. We're talking about ideas. Talking about we're iterating. We're trying to figure out how to make things slowly better. This is how projects are. Yeah, dude, back on the thing of what people should do in tech, it's like you gotta think when it comes to applying to these jobs. Why would someone hire you? Especially, why would someone give you $100,000, 150, 200, even 60 or whatever you're getting paid? Why would someone give you that money? Because well, this is going to run for a little bit. So let's talk about a little something that happened a long time ago in the West. The iron cage. Oh, this is what I researched. This is what I give a fuck. I'm a little crazy. So like this is how I study. I'm like, let me learn about bureaucracy. Let me learn about economics. So like the iron cage is a concept introduced by Max Weber, probably the most famous economist in the Western recent history, or one of the most, to describe the increased rationalization inherent in social life, particularly in Western capitalist societies. The iron cage thus traps individuals in systems based purely on teleological efficiency, rational calculation, and control. So when we talk about rationalization, we're sort of talking about going through sort of like the reasons you're doing things are less based on the religious, spiritual, symbology oriented things towards reason and science. So that's what happened over the past. It's also, you could say, what is it? Disenchantment or whatever is another term. It's not the same thing, but that's like a part of that. So the Enlightenment era, we had a whole phase, and this is the reason why I'm talking about this. I'm not just like saying random shit. We had a whole phase of the world where we kind of go away from a lot of traditions, and the more we have these disciplines around how the world works and what things are. So this idea of the iron cage is kind of like what happens at the individual level based on you being in a system. And a big problem is, so you're in a little cage and you're in your bureaucracy. I'm sorry, but that's true. You were born in a society where you're kind of in a little cage. And that's okay, so you don't go out and you kill people. Largely, like 99 whatever percent of people are living in a hierarchy in which they're sort of detached from their labor in terms of like the value of their labor. Like they don't have full agency. It's more so your skill set fits into the system. You know, there's an alienation of your labors with. And by the way, I'm not anti-capitalist at all. I'm just talking about these are concepts that a capitalist talked about. This is not no one's. I'm just talking about like this is what happens, and this is important because when we talk about getting a job in tech, like you have to understand what a job is. You kind of get where I'm going with this, or yeah, exactly. Is your Will gets it? Yeah. Is your performance worth the price? Exactly. Before, largely in the world, you had these craftsmen. You had people. This is before we have the bureaucracy. It was before we have the like everything is based. Your meaning is how you work in the system. Before that, you have less. The world's a little less structured, and you're like, hey, and you don't really have. Your taxes are mostly in this feudalistic way where it's like, yeah, does your landowner fucking like what do you pay him? You know, that's your life's a lot simpler, right? It's not so much like these levers and these like gates. It's just like, yeah, you're kind of a serf, but you're good at something. And this guy's like, I'm going to give you a lot of money because you're really good at making tables. And then you're like, you know what? I'm really good. I can set my price maybe. And maybe my price is super high. And, you know, it's like you kind of have more of a people are getting these skills. They're living on land. They're working land. And the skills they have to work the land and to trade and to, you know, pass resources around, a lot of it's based on not a system, but their performance and their competence. And I'm not saying that doesn't exist anymore, obviously, but I'm saying that systemically, that's not, this is what it is. It's bureaucracy. So here are the laws of bureaucracy. By the way, I'm getting a data set right now. Okay. I'm not trying to, just talking about ideas here. The official that's the official here. The official is subject to authority only with respect to their official obligation. That pretty much makes sense. So, like, are you going to be an authority? Is that a part of your actual job? No, then you don't have that. Organized in a clearly defined hierarchy of offices. So you have a hierarchy in your job, in your system. You have a manager. It's clear, it's defined. Like you have people under you, you have people next to you. Everyone knows where they are, they know their position. Each office has a clearly defined sphere of competence. These are the seniors. These are the engineers. These are the marketing department, you understand? The official has a free contractual relationship, free selection. That's actually, I mean, yeah, I guess that's fairly self-explanatory. Officials are selected through technical qualification. Did you do your fucking LEET code? Did you do your LEET code? Can you do two-sum? You can't do two-sum. You're an idiot. Okay, I'm just kidding. But like you have to be qualified to be in the system, okay? The office is paid by fixed salaries. By the way, these are the laws of bureaucracy, okay? These are ideas that were developed for a very long time. And these people who developed a lot of these ideas, like Max Weber, were like, hey, this puts people in an iron cage. And it's technically ordered, rigid, dehumanized society. And like people like him, they're not really critiquing it, they're just talking about it. Okay. That's what people used to do before like the internet made everyone like crazy. You just used to talk about ideas. Wait, there's another job view in the chat? Or is that the same job view? What are the odds? Yeah, it is very soulless. Okay, it's probably the most important point. This is the most that people, I think, and I'm talking about tech right now. So like, I don't know that's my world. My world is the people that build shit. Okay. The official is paid by fixed salaries. Okay, so you have a fixed value to do your position. Understand a very important part of what I said, how the old world was. People largely got paid based on the performance of their work. If you're lazy, your family is starving. You know what I mean? So you have this fixed salary. So you're just like, you go to the company. And by the way, I'm not arguing for non-fixed. I'm just saying this is what happened. This is the world you live in now. So it's like, okay, you have this wage. You have a wage. And based on your performance, you can talk to your authority who is just there because of their position to get a higher salary. But it's fixed. The office is the primary occupation of the official. Yeah. Kind of sucks, but it's true. Your primary job, that's so funny. Your job is the company. Or it is your department. Your department is your job. Or it's like isn't that interesting? It's like your main thing. You know what's so funny? Even though I don't play the fucking bureaucracy game much anymore, everyone does to some extent. But if you do want good advice to like build a career as a whatever, work for your department. Right? Is this thing done? No, we're still crawling. This might take a while. I'm trying to get a pretty big data set. But it's like work for your everything I do is for my office. My department. Promotion is based on an achievement which is granted by the judgment of superiors. Yeah. A higher salary, higher hierarchical position, maybe to go to a higher office, whatever it is based on understand, it's not granted on your performance, it's granted on your superiors. Understood? You kind of get it? The official works entirely separated from ownership of the means of administration. They didn't talk about means of production. That's the communist side. We're not really talking about that. We're talking about administration. So, and I don't care where you put politics are. We're not talking about politics. We're talking about bureaucracy. So you have no ownership over the administration. You have no ownership on how HR does reporting. You have no ownership over the taxes and whatever in the 401k thing that the job does. You have none of that is something you own. And by the way, not really saying it's bad. I'm just saying this is how it is. Because most people don't want any ownership over that. They want to consent to an office. Right? And then we're going to get into that in a fucking second. We're going to get into that in a second. So ass kiss. Yeah. Why do you think I don't fucking work for a department, untalented web dev? Start your own company. This is a whole thing where I'm like, start your own company. Your job is playing the job game, not trying to be great. Exactly. You want to play this game. By the way, I'm just me. I just do what I do, and it's not this. Okay. So if you want to do this, you can do this. I'm not, but I'm just explaining the situation. The official is subject, by the way, this is Max Weber. The people that defined, I don't know if you know him, we can talk about him in a sec, but he's one of the most important Enlightenment economic minds, political minds that built your nation. If you're in the West, the official is subject to strict and systemic discipline within the office. That's, you get it. You gotta do the system's rules. Okay, the rules are, and I'm not even saying that. That's actually not even bad. That's just how all teams work, kind of. Okay, so here are some costs of bureaucracies. Loss of individuality. Labor is now being sold to someone who is in control instead of individuals being artisans and craftsmen, what I was talking about, and benefiting from their own labor. This is still going. Okay, cool. Oh, wait, is this... Oh, this stopped. Hold on a second. We'll get back to that in a second. This is on... You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to this crawler. I'm going to remove these because it already got these, I think. Everyone get it? Oh, wait. Let's see. Is this site broken? Anyway. So you're literally like not like because it's so funny because people are like, oh, we have to own the means of production. So with the communists, and I get it, I'm not trying to get in anybody. I shouldn't be too much getting into politics, but a slight criticism of the communists is that it's largely reactionary because they want to own labor in the bureaucracy. You kind of get what I'm saying? It's a reaction to bureaucracy. So you can be better bureaucrats. Like, look at the Soviet Union. That's all that happened. They became like a super bureaucracy. Okay. Like, right? For me, that's like obvious. And I get it. Yeah, Bernie. Yeah, fucking, like, I'm just kidding. Obviously, no Bernie. Search for Kagi Small Web. It's good data. Nice. Job view. Are you the same job view? This is a different, like, profile image. It's like freaking me out. Trading responsibilities for less control. Exactly. So, okay, here's some other costs of the bureaucracy. Loss of autonomy. Others are dictating what an individual's services are worth. The worth is based on another, right? It's based on who is higher up. These are new, relatively, for humanity's lifetime, these are newer developments that were launched because of globalization. Because we started to have empires. We started to have Rome. We started to have Britain. Like, how do you manage having whatever amount of colonies? I don't know how many fucking colonies they had. But it's like, how do you manage economic systems that are constantly expanding? Well, they figured out you need bureaucracies and you need debt. Because once you have debt, you have currency to manage that debt, and you have interest rates. And you can with these interest rates, you can use levers to manage your debt pyramid. And it's a pyramid. This is educational. Oh, it's the same job view. What do you think are better alternatives to bureaucracy? That's a good point. I think so here's actually what I think when it comes to the future of the bureaucracy. So I don't have all the answers to it, but what I see here, the potential in this, because this isn't bad. This is all like, there's a point to it. Interesting. Building a theory off the... Hey, Maliki, where you been? Off the false history. Yeah, exactly. But So there's a ton of potential here. There's a ton of potential here because it turns out, oh yeah, transform himself to a bigger cog. Nice. But it turns out all this bureaucratic machine shit, it's useful to the machine and to all that. There's a use for it, but it's all based on consent. All of this, like you can read this and just feel like, oh, I can see why dudes are just killing themselves once they live this life for 20 years and they fight and like that they drone like movies like Fight Club start resonating all of a sudden. You know what I mean? But all this is based on consent. You wanted this job because of the fixed salary. And you could say, well, I didn't consent to being born in this system. It's like, okay, well, who started the office? You just need to keep asking questions. It's like eventually you ask enough questions, and you're like, wait a second, I can kind of navigate this bureaucracy with agency if I live in a free country. To the point where I don't even need to individually, my labor doesn't need to be tied to a bureaucracy, because you know what? People like Max Weber, let me go to, let me see how they talk about it here. People like Max Weber started thinking and speculating the idea. Okay, it doesn't say here, but the free market, you get it. So like there's a non-free market and there is a free market. A lot of the market isn't free in the way we think it is and the way it's been educated. But you can start a company, and you can, when you know how the system works, you can navigate it really well. You can, if you don't know how the system works, you can start a company that becomes that is made to become a department for another company. That's what most startups are, is their pilot programs to become a Google department. But a lot of companies are that. A lot of companies, they do very unique things. They innovate. They do, they solve problems that they can own. So really, I don't see it so much as having a different system, but if you understand how this works, you can navigate it a lot better, and you can be like, okay, it turns out I need to have my labor, my performance directly tied to a service. The closer you get that gap where you're performing well and it's doing a service, the better you are. That's partially why I'm starting an agency, because it's work, and you can it's based on what you do. Why? Because what is cannot be if it isn't, could it? Untalented web dev, you just blew my mind. What the fuck? What are you talking about? Because what is cannot be, wait, okay. Because what is cannot be. Yeah, they gave me a stroke. Because what is, I'm adding a comma because you didn't. Okay? Because what is cannot be, comma, if it isn't, comma, could it? What's super confusing about that untalented web dev is that you added a comma. So like you did add a comma, but you forgot 3 commas. So that's what makes it confusing. Oh, this one's hanging too. If I could go into detail, I would argue this. The truth is, and always been, we are slaves in a system designed to keep the elite in power. Oh, no. Yeah, Maliki, I completely agree. I completely agree. I'm not saying that's actually, I agree. We are slaves of the system, 100%. I'm not, I'm not saying you cannot be a slave to the bureaucracy. What I'm saying is you can increase your agency. That's all I'm saying, through knowing how things work. I actually I want to make it very clear. I'm not saying you can fucking because right now I don't know if we can have a better way of managing. The real thing, I think, is we just need to make our hierarchy smaller, and we need to deglobalize. We need to get more national. I think that's the real way at the top level to fight it. But as an individual, you just got to increase your agency. Exactly. Work for yourself. Fuck the system. Yeah. Best advice I can give. Yeah. All I'm saying is work for yourself. That's really all I'm saying. Millie, you get it. Yeah. It's more. It's about like how can you perform? How can you do a service? How can you do a service? Let's see how big this data set is. Let's see how big this is. It doesn't seem that's way smaller than the other one I have. Way smaller. Been my own boss for 25 years, crushing. Crushing. Dude, that's where I'm trying to get. That's where I'm trying to get. It's just a better way to live. But it's more responsibility and more things are on you. Because the thing is, when you adhere to the office, like okay, it's this line right, not this one. This line right here. This is the line that is the big. It's these 2 points are the big ones. The official's you, by the way, is paid by fixed salaries. In the office, your department, not even just your company, your department is the primary occupation of the official. Your primary occupation is the office. Okay, so like you consent to that. People will like do that for 20 years and complain about it because they don't know their history. Like literally read. Like this is what it is. Oh, this is dude. This is I remember as like a teenager, this is what I hated the most. These are the costs of bureaucracies. Individuals develop an obsession with moving on to bigger and better positions, but someone else will always be determining the value of their achievements. So you're obsessed with a metric of self-improvement that you have absolutely no control over at all. And it's not even just because you could say, oh, like God has control. It's not even that. It's another guy. Another guy is in control of the thing that you are trying to will, that like the thing you're trying to do. It's another guy. And I get it. And dude, and here's the thing, like that's not that bad at all. But if people don't know this, then they'll just like because part of knowing about stuff like this is being able to be a good leader and be like, hey, I'm gonna like try to develop people so they can fulfill their potential um rather than like I'm trying to set up something where it's you have more agency in it, which might be hard. You get it. Specialization. This is a big problem. Yeah, and then there's lack of individual freedom. Individuals can no longer engage in a society unless they belong to a large scale organization. That's so fucking true. That's so true. Specialization. With specialization, society becomes more interdependent and has a less common purpose. A common purpose. You see a theme here? It's like as societies got bigger, more bureaucracies formed, more individuals got alienated from their labor and from their community, and the less of a common purpose there is, the less of a nation you have. Sound familiar? Let's go check Twitter. Let's see what the people on Twitter are talking about. Are they happy? And I'm not saying everyone needs to be happier, I guess. That's not really what I mean by that. What I mean is like, is there a common people? You know, it's like a nation is its people. Let's see. I like what Tucker just said the other night. We don't know what happened in history. They have lied. History is written by the winners. Think about all the people wanting to work for themselves but never take the leap. It's because of we can talk about that. We can talk about that. That's another thing. That's a spiritual issue, which is I think is by design. By the way, this isn't talk about this, like talk about this stuff matters. People will like be like, oh, I want to talk about like I don't know, stupid shit. And I'm like, dude, this matters. Um we all can, but too many want to be babysat. Yeah, true. The yeah, evil preys on needy hands, dude. Yeah. We're seeing the cost of this with declining birth rates, dude. That's by design, Javu, too. You can't, because you know what happens when a man has a lot of potential to get married and have a long marriage in a large family. What happens when a young man, like a young guy, I thinks and believes that he has the ability fully to have the potential to have a big family in his lifetime. Think about yeah, by the way, if anyone's here, this is like you should subscribe to Schemology. It's on my might be in the description. It's on my YouTube, because this is like what we talk about, and that it's like no, but that's so important. That potential is what like drives your nation in terms of, and it's what forms a nation. You know what decreases that potential? Shit like OnlyFans, hookup culture, the pill. You understand? These things decrease your birth rate. It increases the anxiety around family. You understand? It's like these things are not are like useful to the system, because if you don't have that potential for that future, you will consent to the fixed salary, to the fixed life. Because when a man believes he has a high potential, he will take risks to get there. He will do things he will be heroic. That's where the hero's journey comes from. It's like the most potential, the most like you do what's needed because you believe in something. You understand? So you will consent to your department, because and then you will do the system. And the more that system grows, the less you're gonna have these high birth rates, and these you should be able to see like tons of young I don't see young families. Let's see. So you can build a business in which you can eventually have more employees and have a warehouse selling to other regions. Oh, interesting. Wait, Maliki, I gotta read your story here. That's a businessman visits a village and watches a man go fishing for a few hours, and then goes home and spends time with family and repeats this daily. So the businessman asks, why not fish more and start selling your extra fish? The man replies, why? So you can build a business in which you can eventually have more employees and have a warehouse selling to other regions. The man replies, why? Well, then you might be able to get to a point where you can spend time fishing and not worry. The man replies, isn't that what I'm doing already? That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, no, well, that's a good story. Isn't that what I'm doing already? And it's so funny because like it's so obvious. It's like, by the way, we're talking about the iron cage. You're in an iron. Oh yeah, this is what really matters. Because this is really like, I don't know if you guys are aware of this. got some sniffles. Okay, so this is like the Protestant work ethic is kind of what we're talking. Is that's what got us here. So this is why it's very largely American. So like the we're just talking about this now. I have my data set, my fixed data set. So that's what I wanted to do. The training and all that, it takes time. Okay, so let's actually just go to, do they have like the definition of the Protestant work ethic here? Can I just, because I don't like to just like fucking always, I like to get like actual, because I'm not like a professor of this shit. So like, I, let's see. Okay. So, how would you, I just want a sentence describing it. Okay. All right. This is good. This is good. So, Weber, after going to America and all this shit, he developed his theory of the Protestant work ethic. I don't know if you know, Americans are Protestant. That's okay, largely, at least at this time. Okay, so those with the ethic believed in good fortune from hard work is a vindication of God in this life. And theodicy, I actually don't know what that is, of fortune. This supported religious and social actions that proved their right to possess even greater wealth. In contrast, those without the ethic instead emphasize that God will be vindicated by granting wealth and happiness in the next life. Okay, so the general idea is, and it's like this idea, like good works, and they're saying it here where it's like the Catholic idea of good works is kind of translating into the Protestants into this like this this work ethic that you like your life is work. And that's not bad, by the way. Like, and I think that like the origins of this are actually very nice and like kind of pure. You know, like things like that are it's like a good thing, but if you kind of see where I'm going here, some people that are that like to manage and make systems and market might use people with this incredible empowering sense of work ethic that's based on them doing it for God to say, well, I mean, think about if you like you can work way harder if you don't have to think about all that shit, like, you know, managing your price and like trying to like, you know, like you have to manage like all this administration shit. You have to worry about like what type of money you're getting paid in and all this stuff. Don't worry about any of that. Just work. Just work. Yeah. So the bureaucracy is sort of like this tool that was used to make the America more productive because everyone gets to just work. You just work. You get to be the best Protestant for God for working. See ya, RC. RC, you said peace chat and you didn't say anything in the chat. So what? It's like bye. You weren't here, RC. Okay. If only I could go back to 20, though I know at 50. Oh, I'm sure. Protestants believe that by faith in Jesus you are saved. Works are just a proof of your faith, like the fruit of your faith in your works. Catholic believer, faith plus. Yeah. I'm not really talking about the faith plus works part, though. We're just talking about how the Protestant work ethic is like it could. We're talking about the work ethic because you're right. It's not. They mean like you're saved just because you believe in all that. And by the way, I'm not on either side of. I see flaws on both sides of that. Like I just like Jesus, and I'm also not even talking about that with here. I'm more so talking about the ethic, how they developed, in contrast to the good works of the Catholics, they developed this like it's all about if you work hard, like, and do your duty, your job, your job, you are blessed and will be given more in the next life. And by the way, I'm not even critical of that. In fact, I think it's a beautiful thing conceptually. It's pretty clear some people took advantage of that. Yeah, it's about what you can do for each other, not for the system. Not for the like the system kind of hates you. I get no, dude. YouTube system's good. Thank you for YouTube for the system. It's like thank you, YouTube. Everything's good. Everything's good. We're all very grateful that we've been given this opportunity to give you ad money. Thank you. I'm really happy that I'm a good little YouTuber, and I'm happy that to give you ad money today. But you better give me some fucking ad money too. This goes both ways, YouTube. I thought we went from shredding code to theology. Or two paper. Nice. We should talk about theology one day. I read the Bible a lot now. I didn't grow up with any theology at all. I love code for the logic. Yeah, the cool thing about code, it's all about its logos. Well, so here's why problem solving is so cool, is because in this, like, yeah, the depersonalization, all this shit, you can choose which problems to solve in this world. That's it. It's a choice. You have agency. You can choose your path. You can choose who you want to be. You don't have to fucking. It's not your office. Okay, it's not your manager. It's not the terms and conditions. You get to choose your adventure, and you get to go on an adventure. It's not like mythical fucking fairy tale shit where it's like, oh no, that's just everything's been discovered and all. No, you like think like beyond what you see, but you need to have belief to do that. You need to believe in something, and belief often, in my opinion, I'm not a genius. Okay, I may be wrong, but I think a lot of belief comes from being able to visualize potential. I always think McGregor, he's like perfected his belief, and he would talk about how he would just constantly think about himself with those two belts on. Like he would think, like he would visualize it. The average man in America right now can't, like the average, and I'm not saying everyone. I get it. It might not be you, but the average can't visualize a future, in my opinion, just from knowing a lot of people and stuff. They can't visualize like the family and the home and all that. And a lot of it's because, in my opinion, a lot of the bureaucracy and they call it I guess, where is it? The depersonalization, the alienation that's happened from, and this lack of a common purpose, lack of a purpose outside of your work ethic, outside of your job. And I'm not saying like if you find purpose in your job, I'm not even talking about you. What I mean is almost a negative thing. Because a lot of people, they find purpose in their job and they crush. And those are my favorite people, where they're like, yeah, dude, I just love like work. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if you get fired from the job you already hate, you self-destruct because you think you don't have any purpose anymore and any meaning. And because like that's what I'm saying. It's like this negative relationship with it. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't grow up in a religious household. Oh, is you too, Raz? Yeah. Dude, same. Dude, we're very same. Yeah, I didn't grow up in any, and then I found JC. Understand that your actions can affect history. It's not even just about history, it's about your lineage, Will, in my opinion. Like, I think it's a lot about it's like where like who like your father's father. Like there's like a story happening in your life. You know, it's like what are you like how were you created better? Yeah, and it is about what you can do for this world. You're right about that too. I was an atheist most of my life. This is Maliki. Took a bit to figure it out. Now I know there's a creator. Not sure about the religions themselves. They're tainted by man, which is why it took me time to figure. Yeah, dude, a lot of people are in your position. A lot of people are in that position. Like it, like I don't like, dude. Maybe it's fucked up. Like whenever I go to, I don't go to churches or anything because every time I go, I'm like, you guys fucking like, you guys are just gonna like nod. Are you guys like retarded? And I am, dude. I like love God. Like I definitely believe there's a creator. I read the Bible most nights, but it's like, or listen to it, but it's like, I'll be sitting. I'm just being honest. Someone has to say, I'll be like, really? You're just gonna like the guy just said something loud, you know? Maybe I'm going to the wrong churches. I don't know. Someone has like a better one. I'll go to one. I'm just like, so like we're not gonna like talk about it. Maybe I'm like, so you guys just all agree? I feel like that's what are the odds of that? Is it on point, Roz? Dude, that's awesome. Dude, I'd go to one. Dude, I would definitely go to one. I'd definitely go to one if it was cool. But I'll be there and I'm just like, really? Like, so I'd say if I had to choose a religion, I'd choose Buddhism, but that makes sense more than, yeah, that's cool too. Yeah, I believe everyone has a natural skill set. If they would all just work on the skills they're given, the world would be naturally better off. Yeah, this past few years, I've really been trying to like kind of like focus on like what is my natural skill set, you know. When I grew up Catholic, but was just going through the motions, would end up as well going through an atheist phase. Started reading the Bible recently, immediately came back to God. It's interesting. It's so funny. Like I've really had heard people actually read the Bible and be like mad. I mean, I know some people do, but I mean actually read it. I was fine, but I'm not trying to push anything on anybody. I feel like whenever you bring up religion, because there is this like, because a lot of the religions got fucked. Like the Catholic Church was like, in my opinion, is like kind of crazy. Um, and and I'm not saying the religion, by the way. I'm not saying the religion. I'm just saying like the Vatican freaks me out. And I think that they got some people upset. There's definitely dogma in organized religion for sure. Largely. I'm making generalizations. But I don't think that means like cuz where two or more gather I appear, that's Jesus, right? So there's something to there's a communal nature, I think, to it. But also Jesus came with a sword. So it's like there also isn't kind of at the same time. It's weird. It's weird. But anyone can believe what they want to believe, though. What I care about is people just, which is why I'm also streaming, is like people like there needs to be a culture of us being honest in public because we need that. It fucks with your head if you just like if everyone's like saying shit because you like say stuff with your buddies and then like you go out in the world and everyone's like, oh no, you think pronouns are bad? You're a bad person, or you think you don't want to say your pronouns? You're a bad person. And by the way, I'm not even saying like that you have to agree with that. Also, that's another thing that like you can believe what you want to believe, but like everyone needs to be honest, I think. I mean, obviously, I sound like a fucking after school special. I like reading the Bible for insight, like in Matthew, the part where Satan takes Jesus to the top of the mountain and offers all the kingdoms. If he would bow down to him, Jesus refused the offer. Yeah, dude. And that's like just a thing in life. That's just like, that just happens like all the time. It's just like a moment in every guy's life. It's crazy. It's like, they it has like a lot of good patterns like that. A lot of good patterns like that. All right. It's a good stream. We can continue to chat in Discord if you guys want. I'm gonna go eat. I need a second dinner. I've not been hitting my calories that I need. So what about them vector embeddings, huh? I did it, or I got the new data set. I gotta like make the embeddings now, but that'll take some time that I'm not gonna do on the stream because I'm realizing I'll do that tomorrow. I'll go through the whole clustering thing again. If you want to see how the vector embeddings are made, check out the web dev, the web scraping sucks video. That's a good one. But this one, I fixed up the algorithm to get the data set, which is nice. All right, guys. Adios.